For such a small country, Portugal packs a punch. From cosmopolitan cities and out-of-the-way towns and villages to lively beach resorts and spectacular national parks, this diminutive nation offers an incredibly diverse range of visitor attractions. Occupying a wedge of Iberia and sharing a border with Spain and a fantastic coastline with the Atlantic Ocean, Portugal's location in this sun-kissed corner of Western Europe lends it a singular appeal. Its southern reaches remain a compelling vacation destination, renowned for gloriously sandy beaches and world-class golf courses. Number 1. Lisbon. The capital continues to sit at the top of travel itineraries, and visitors usually can't wait to sink their teeth into authentic pastéis de nata, try one of the many bacalhau dishes, and explore the Portuguese calçadas, traditional mosaic walkways. Despite the boom in tourism, this continues to be a city that can be explored on a budget, and is still one of the most tranquil and affordable capitals in Europe. Visitors can anticipate winding, narrow roads, and phenomenal lookout points. Walking around at night is also a treat. Number 2. Porto. The gateway to the north, Porto is both the city that provided a nation with a name and a fortified wine known worldwide as Port. The second largest city in the country, it's located at the mouth of the Douro River. Its historic center is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. The city's Iberia riverfront is its center and its most picturesque part. The area has a mix of ancient narrow streets and alleyways with centuries-old buildings. Old homes of granite and tile loom over the waterfront, that's filled with rebello boats and river excursion ships. The riverfront area comes alive in the evening when numerous cafes, bars, and restaurants open. Couples stroll along the Douro, as a hint of music drifts from the bars and cafes, and the smell of coffee and grilled fish fills the air. Number 3. Algarve. Algarve is one of the best places to go to mix warm weather, hiking expeditions, trendy beaches, and even trendier social scenes. Each of the major cities is worth visiting, including Albufeira, Lagos, Vila Moura and Portimão, and a weekend away may convince anyone that heaven exists here on earth. Tiny treasure troves of jewel-bright waters and mesmerizing cliffs like Camilo Beach in Lagos are sprinkled across the region, and don't worry about not speaking Portuguese if you need directions. One of the premier resort towns in Portugal, Lagos basks in the warmth of the Algarve and is the preferred vacation destination for thousands of visitors who flock to the country's south coast every year. 4. Alentejo. The Alentejo has its fair share of hilltop towns, but few are as appealing as Murtola. Furthermore, this whitewashed smudge of a community sits over the River Guadiana, and the scene is quite idyllic. But what really sets this destination apart is the fact that the whole place has been designated a Vila Museu museum site. Murtola's origins date back to the Phoenicians, who created a bustling river port, a facility later used by the Romans and then the Moors. This diverse and colorful timeline is the basis for the cluster of excellent mini-museums dotted in and around the old town, with each one devoted to a separate epoch. Helping to illustrate the Arabs' residency is the landmark 13th-century castle, strategically perched on the top of a hill. Number 5. Coimbra. The historic hilltop university in Coimbra is just one reason to visit this venerated Portuguese city. But the wealth of additional visitor attractions, much of them clustered around the Velha Universidade, classified by UNESCO as a World Heritage Site, merits a full day's sightseeing. The undoubted highlight of a tour of the old university campus is the stunning Biblioteca Janina, a Baroque gem of gilded and marbled wood and frescoed ceilings. You can also climb to the top of the 18th-century clock tower for a giddy perspective over the entire area. Our exploration should include the imposing late 12th century Velha, Old Cathedral. Back in the old town below, there are further historic buildings to discover, among them two former convents in the Igreja de Santa Cruz, consecrated in 1131, which contains the tomb of Portugal's first king, Afonso Henriques. Number 6. Monsanto. Want to travel back in time? For travelers after a real feel for old Portugal, it doesn't get better than visiting the most Portuguese village in the country, which has barely changed over hundreds of years. This hidden gem remains widely unknown, and its most special characteristic is obvious upon arrival. The village is built around, in and under huge boulders. Number 7. Évora. A unique and historic city, 2,000-year-old Évora is labyrinthine of streets and city squares, Renaissance fountains, Moorish courtyards and Gothic doorways and turrets. The Romans created its elegant temple, battlements, and baths, and the Moorish Évora influenced the urban network of the Moraria district. Évora is a beautiful town at the foot of the mountain range of the same name. Consequently, its unique characteristics led UNESCO to classify it as a World Heritage Site. Incidentally, it was even necessary for UNESCO to create a special category, that of cultural landscape. Accordingly, this was to take into account the natural riches of the mountains, as well as the historic town. Number 8. Elvas. The heavy, star-shaped walls that make up the military fortifications surrounding Elvas are among the best preserved examples of military architecture in Europe. In fact, this frontier town, set on a hilltop in the Alentejo, 15 kilometers from the border with Spain, is so remarkable for its mid-17th century defenses that UNESCO has declared Elvas a World Heritage Site. It's a long drive east, and should perhaps be combined with a visit to the nearby Spanish city of Badajoz, but those making the effort to reach this fascinating destination will be rewarded with a truly imposing circuit of walls, deep moats, and star-shaped ramparts. Subscribe and press the bell icon to get more amazing videos every day.